at 19:17 hours.
On a motion to close executive session for a sealed minutes.
I second the motion.
Motion made and seconded to close this and seal the minutes of the executive session. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Oh, I can grab this, all right. Aye.
All right. Next agenda is prayer. Dear Lord, please look over our service people overseas and in this country, serving our country. Look over the board, give us the guidance to make wise decisions. And please help our pension fund do better in stocks this year. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You gonna use this one?
Yeah, I'll use this one.
Tracy, do roll call.
Albert Hero,
Here.
David Lemoy,
Here.
Colleen Tay,
Here.
Fred Gill,
Yeah.
Ralph Salmanese.
Yeah.
Okay. Item E is approval of minutes from December 10, 2018. Is there any questions on them?
Motion to approve the minutes from December 10th.
Second the motion.
Motion made and seconded to approve the minutes of December 10, 2018. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, board council report.
The only item that I had to bring to the board's attention that is not on the agenda tonight is a question has come up in calculating a pension benefit for someone who had military service under USERA, and how their pension would be calculated for purposes of the, you not hear me?
No, I just, for the record.
Sorry. Am I on the microphone now? All right. How the pension would be calculated for purposes of USERA, as far as calculating the applicant's salary for the 12-month look back, because the person's military service happened to be within the last year of their service. So when calculating the pension, there was an issue because the town had allowed the person to use accrued time toward their deductions, their monthly deductions. So the payroll does not necessarily reflect the salary that the person would have received in the last 12 months. So I have not investigated this matter as it was just brought to my attention, but it would be my recommendation that this be something that be looked into as far as the correct calculation of the salary for the person while they were on active military and while they had deductions taken out, and how that applies in the most recent adoption of USERA.
Any discussion?
Oh, I agree.
Agreed.
Should be looked into.
I agree, we gotta look into that.
Okay.
A motion to have Attorney Schmitz review USERA and how it applies to this matter.
We'll table it till next month.
I'll second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to have the attorney look into the regulations for military time and report back next month. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Rockland report. This period, the beginning market value, $31,687,295.58. Change in market value, minus $1,829,895.69, giving an end market value of $29,675,200.76. It shows there as a gain of $23,243.24. I think that's looking, the gain is talking about the additions, withdrawal, and income and so forth, and fees. Overall, from the first of the year, first of last year to the end of last year, total gain was $826,153.14. So, and as we heard last month at the report, our profile area hasn't done very well. Questions, anybody? Okay, Clearbrook, David, do you have the copy you
Yeah, I
can read?
have the copy, it's just, it's tough to read.
Yeah, it's hard to
I
read.
think it's
though.
very dark, but the total, including the alternatives to Rockland's numbers, would be $32,825,491. That's as of December 31st, 2018.
What was it again, Dave?
Sorry, 32 million.
I got it.
825, 491?
Yes, 32,825,491. Thanks.
Oop. This is good.
Okay.
This is just that.
So according to this, then, we've fallen short by our projected increase over the life of this plan by 2%. Because it's saying that since inception, we've gone up 5%. Well, we've earned 5%.
Last year was difficult for everybody, not just our pension system.
The last 6 months have been difficult. The first 6 months were
Yeah.
pretty good. The
Yeah.
last 6 months have been difficult. The year before was outstanding. That apparently we didn't do too well in 2015. So,
No, so we,
yeah. Well, I
we
think
did question them last month about decisions they make for moving down, moving a couple of them, they said. There's also been talk about looking at their contract and that. That's something we're gonna be addressing down the road and see if we need to make a change or what we need to do further on that. I have just got this report today and haven't had a chance to read all of it, but it's not good to start with, but again, they can only do so much in the market, it determines a lot of it, so.
Well, yeah, but I think they, I just feel like they really haven't done well here for us. And I'm pushing to take another look at other companies and see how they've done for other towns.
Tracy, have we got a contract with them, or are they just, how are they?
Nyhart.
When they went out to bid, we approved that.
Not, it's Clearbrook.
Clearbrook.
Oh, we have the, sorry,
Is it,
Clearbrook.
is it not coming
Wait a
back?
minute.
The lights are on.
Oh, okay. So they, okay, I was thinking it's a Blackstone group down here.
One's on, one's not.
Mics are on, is it not showing up on the website?
It's checking, but the lights are on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that usually blue, that's not blue.
Yeah, blue when it's off, right?
Yeah, that one's blue.
That one's off, so that one should be on there.
Looks like it's on. Says it's loaded.
Do we have a
Sorry.
contract
I wasn't listening, so.
With-
With Clearbrook?
with Clearbrook? Is it a
No.
contract, or we just,
There's a
you-
contract, yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
at will.
that.
when
Yeah.
does it run out?
Doesn't,
I
does it?
don't think
I
it
don't-
does.
no.
No?
So we can look into other companies when we
You
want
would have to go out to bid.
yeah, like I said, this is it's a tough time in the market for everybody. Just basing that on time to get a new financial advisor, I think is a little short-sighted. We've only had them for 2 years, and 1 year they did 13 and a half, or a little bit more,
Yeah.
which is well above what's expected, and last year they were just under.
So what did we have before them?
Uh, Morgan Stanley, I believe, or a subsidiary of Morgan Stanley. It wasn't like a big company, it was like a regional.
So we had them in, what, like 14 and 15?
We had them, I don't know the exact years. When I got on in 13 or 14 to the pension board, we had them at that time, yeah. And we went out to bid. We had several bids, and we went with Clearbrook just about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago.
All right, so you're thinking, see what this year does, since they had market, is it just against them, it wasn't them themselves?
Yeah. And then they signed one of those IPA.
I mean, I don't want to get too far off the agenda either, you know,
Okay,
to be discussing stuff like this.
all right, okay. All right, item H, payment of bills, first one, Olin and Penza. MFB 7372 is for $15.95, $1,595.85 for November of 2018. And the plan redraft is $18.50, for a grand total of $1,614.35.
Motion to pay H1, $1,614.35.
Second the motion?
Motion made and seconded to pay item H1. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. H2, Nyhart Corporation. Actuary Administrative Services for 2018. It's a funding valuation prep intern bill for 57 hours, $12,820.00. Part 2 is the benefit calculations for November 2018. That was 6 hours at $1,125, for a total of $13,945.00.
I did have a question on that benefit calculation now, because they said that they recalculated somebody twice, and they charged us the same amount of money for the recalculation as the initial calculation?
I believe they calculated the same individual 2 different ways. I don't think it was like a
Oh, okay, that's what I misunderstood that. They said they did 2 more.
Motion to pay item H2, $13,945.
A second.
I second.
Motion made and seconded to pay the item H2 for $13,945. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item I, applications. We have Frank Parenti Jr. from the Fire Department. His amount is $4,489.39.
Motion to approve item I1, Frank Parenti Jr., and thank him for his 41 years of service, dedicated service.
I second that.
Motion made and seconded to approve item HI and to thank Mr. Parenti for his 41 years of service. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item J1, death benefit, passing of Mr. James Smith in November of 2018. Survivor monthly is $34.19 a month, and a one-time fee of $2,000.
Motion to approve J1, James Smith's beneficiary.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to approve item J1 for Mr. Smith's beneficiary. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, the next one is item J, Ed Marr. We did get the figures in. He was notified by Tracy, and he just hasn't had a chance to get here to sign off on her approval. So we're just waiting for that, and then he's all squared away.
We'll just table until next
So-
time.
You want a table?
Yeah, so he can sign it and I
Okay.
can, have the signature.
All right. Motion to table item K, Edmar.
I second.
Motion made and seconded to table item K, Edmar, until next month. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Yeah.
Item L is the meeting dates for next year. They
How
are,
You would amend these 2 days.
which two?
We just changed them. It's me and Chris are on vacation. And then if we have to change it again,
Okay.
so just make the motion as amended. Then if David.
All right, for
I don't
next,
think I can do the 10th.
for this year,
of what-
next one is February 11th,
Right,
and March 11th, April 22nd, May 13th.
we might have to amend June.
I won't be able to do the 10th, but just to throw it out there.
Well, June 10th for now until it gets amended. July 8th, August 19th,
I'll write a note.
Yeah,
September 9th.
That may change too.
October 21st, November 18th, and December 9th. If there's an amendment, it'll be posted on the website.
Need, approval, of the
We need
meeting dates.
approval of that?
Motion to approve the meeting dates, item L.
Second,
Motion made to second to approve the meeting dates as read. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The next one, Ann McLaughlin, that I believe was,
Remember I talked to you on that,
uh,
about the attorney wanted the benefits calculated?
right. And that's something that,
You told me.
no, we're not gonna, so have you sent him something telling him that?
I just told them I would bring it to the board.
Yeah. They want us to do some calculations on what might be down the road after retirement, and we're not gonna do that unless they wanna do it, they can pay for it. But until they actually put an application in, it's too much to try to figure out, and there's not enough solid, information to come up with an answer.
So would you like me to send an email
Yeah, and explain that to her,
that we will not until there's an app?
till an application, yeah, because it just can't.
I'll send it back to the attorney.
And we usually pay just for one calculation. Do we need a motion for that?
I'll make a motion to it with just a question also. So that was they can have a benefit calculation done, but they've gotta pay for it.
That
I
was-
think they're getting divorced.
Yeah, they're gonna be getting a divorce
Okay.
and wanted to know. And we can,
Or maybe they are, I don't really know.
Well,
It has to do
whichever
with
the case
figuring
may
out
be.
what pension pot is, I think, the
how do you,
spouse's.
they haven't retired, so how do you know what the figures are gonna be in that?
Right, yeah, trying to figure out future figures is what you're
I
saying
did
is the
explain
problem.
that
We don't do quattros
quattros
anymore.
I did
Right.
No.
explain that to the attorney.
So just, we need something to explain that to them and. and they-
Motion for your email.
So just unless there's an app,
Is that a motion? Got a motion on the table?
Just let us-
Floor?
May I ask a question?
Let us-
What is an app? Can you explain what an app is? You said you're not gonna act on something until there's an app.
an application.
An application.
Application.
They haven't, this individual hasn't retired, but wanted to know when the individual retires, what the amounts be based on their divorce agreement. And the quattros, we don't do quattros, they have nothing to do with the board. If an individual retires, an individual at that time to put the application in, actually will figure out what their payments will be per month. If they have a divorce settlement and whatever it's worked out between the two sides, that's between them and how the money's gonna split, but we don't get into that. It's just, the board has done that in the past, and it's been nothing but a can of worms and headaches, and we still have six, I think it is six
We
or
just
seven
went over
that are
all
gonna be
that.
coming up whenever these individuals retire. And then even that, after they retire, there's been questions about remarrying, and this one dies, and who gets this, and then a second remarrying after a second divorce, that's not the pension board's job. It's just to make sure that the person meets the requirements, gets the pension. Whatever happens after that, that's between them. We just can't get into the middle of that. I have a motion on the floor to, that Tracy send a letter to,
I'll second the motion.
motion made and seconded for the clerk to send a letter to their lawyer explaining this. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next one is the opt-out for the police and fire disabilities. Mr. O'Connor, I believe this got to deal with your group and the questions you had last month. Am I correct? Correct. We've had some discussion and looked into this.
Had a meeting with the town manager.
You did.
He did.
Were you satisfied with his answer?
I didn't get an answer. I'm
Okay.
waiting for you.
What's that?
I'm waiting for you.
Kevin said you had a, you said you, he thought you said I had a meeting.
No, you had a meeting with the town manager.
You did?
No,
Oh, you did, okay.
You did.
I had a meeting with, not the town manager,
You didn't have a meeting with the town manager before last month's pension meeting?
no, not on this.
You didn't?
You did? At the meeting?
With the manager and the solicitor.
Yeah,
before
you most
the-
certainly did.
Before the.
Yeah, okay.
Unless Mr. Goslin was a liar.
No. I've had several meetings in different days of the week, and there's a lot here that I've been covering. I meet with HR, I meet with him, I meet with Mr. Williamson on different issues. Your organization signed an agreement. Some members on the disability did not, correct? Okay. Tracy's looked into what she can find. It looks like there are people that did not sign the agreement that your organization did are probably gonna get COLAs.
You're gonna get what?
The COLAs. The ones who didn't opt out to not sign that agreement. We don't know exactly what they're doing, but COLAs, I think you said they're gonna get some.
When I sent the email to
Yeah.
NIHA and asked how it was going to be followed,
Yeah.
how they would treat in the fire disabilities, they just sent back what I sent you.
We don't have a clear-cut answer. The
How
thing,
can you give them a COLA if they're not part of that MOU? How are you going to stop that in motion? If they're not part of the MOU, and the MOU is part of the pension, and they didn't sign the MOU, how are you gonna give them a COLA?
the MOU is,
Just by grace of God?
the MOU is between your organization and the town.
Correct.
The people that are in your organization that signed it and the ones who did not sign the agreement on that MOU, they have worked for the town X number of years, got their pension based on the requirements they met for the disability, and everything was verified that they met all the requirements and what their pension would be. Those that did not sign your agreement, that was their choice. But their benefits are coming to them. Now, if the town elects to give them the same thing as the rest of your organization is getting, or under that agreement, that's the town's decision. It's not hurting the plan because it's something that they have done the same amount of time and paid their dues into it. We can't tell the town they can or can't do it. That's the agreement is between you and the town.
That makes no sense whatsoever.
Why not?
Because my question to the pension board was, these four individuals who did not sign the MOU, are they getting the same reduction in benefits as my guys? So, if what you're telling me, they're gonna get a COLA, and they didn't get any reduction,
Reduction, I don't know.
well, you should know. You're the pension board.
Your you're saying you got a reduction in your pension, and you're saying
Did you
they're
read
not
the
getting,
MOU?
and they're, you're
Have
saying,
you guys read the MOU?
yes.
Okay, so you know we took a 5% reduction.
You're saying, though, that they did not get a reduction.
That's what I'm asking you.
Okay,
That's what I'm asking you, for a year and a half.
all right, okay. I understand what you're saying.
Because we had to go to Superior Court, okay, and
Right.
change your pension plan. We had to modify your pension plan, okay, for a benefit structure. We had to go to court. You follow me?
I'm following so far, yeah?
40-some guys went to court and signed on the dotted line. Okay, they were gonna accept a reduction in their pension benefits for the good of the town, because the town was in trouble. So the town says, okay? That was their big thing to us. The
Alright.
town was in trouble, going bankrupt, we
Kevin,
need a 5% reduction.
Was this, I'm sorry, just to interrupt while we're on the 5%, was it a 5% reduction to change healthcare? Like, was it a change in the healthcare? Is that where the 5% came
It was a
from?
5% benefit reduction, so we gave up holiday pay. Everybody
up
else
holiday
gets holiday pay. We don't get holiday pay anymore for the rest of our lives. Okay.
Was that because of the arbitration where,
No, that was because the town came to us and said we are in financial trouble.
I'm just thinking of when they discontinued randomly, they said no more holiday pay, no more longevity,
Oh, they
right?
took that away,
Right,
arbitrarily.
and then you went to
And we took
arbitration.
them to court for that.
Right, right. Were these people involved in that group as well?
Yes,
Okay. So I would say that the arbitration would cover both groups, the opt-ins and the opt-outs, correct?
it never went to arbitration because we're not covered. We are
You're not covered by the
retirees and
Arbitration
we're not
Act.
covered under the local IBPO or IAM.
Yes, okay, all right.
Okay, so never, we sued.
So you
We
agreed,
sued in Superior Court.
right, but then eventually agreed that
And
you would
well,
give up holiday
In that
pay.
interim,
Yep,
the town went into financial trouble.
right,
Big to-do, state coming in, bankruptcy, we're gonna give you a 2020, town passed an ordinance. If you don't negotiate with us, we're gonna take 20% of your benefits, and we're gonna make you pay 20% of your health care. That was the blind. If you don't do anything, we're gonna cut your throats, 2020, okay? So, get to the negotiating table. And I told the town to go themselves, because we had a lawsuit, because you had already taken our longevity and our holiday pay away, okay? So now you wanna give me another 2020 on top of the holiday and, longevity? So I told him I won't negotiate with him until I get those back. So,
Okay.
okay, so finally, Bill Dolan, great lawyer, came to me and says, Kevin, you gotta negotiate. So I said, well, I'm not negotiating with any lawyers. We went to Fred Presley, and me and Ron Nunes, head of our organization, went to Fred Presley. I said, what do you guys need? Tell me what you need. He said, well, everybody's gonna take a 5% reduction and pay so much into your medical. He says, but this is an all or nothing thing, Kevin. You gotta get all the disability guys to agree to this. I said, well, is everybody else gonna take this hit too? Yep, everybody's gonna take the hit. I said, okay. So I went to my guys, I told them, it's a no-win, it's not a win situation, guys. You're gonna take a 5% reduction, and you're gonna pay for some of your health care. I said, that's what it's gonna be, okay? If you don't, you're gonna get to 2020. So, all the guys, 40-some of the guys signed it. Say, okay, it's not a good deal, but this is what we can take if the town's in a bad situation.
Four didn't sign, correct?
4 didn't sign. So, year went by, and I said, what happened to those 4 guys that never joined our organization, never went to court, and, got the reduction? I've been asking you people for 18 months.
Do you want to know if they're paying part of their medical, and if
No, I
they,
know that, I don't care about medical.
okay, what is it you want to
That
know?
has nothing to do with the pension.
All right,
Medical has to do with the town.
okay.
the
Well, you're
pension
talking
ben-
MOU, so medical's
The
part of it, right?
MOU
and then these
The MOU says that we take a reduction in benefits. Okay, it was either 5%, we elected to take the holiday pay out.
Okay,
Because the current police and fire, if you get on a disability,
Yeah.
you get your longevity and holiday pay. My guys don't get that anymore, and they also don't get the escalation clause anymore,
all right,
okay? So if they get a 10% raise, my
No, I
guys don't
agree.
get 2/3 of that anymore. They get a 5% raise, they don't get 2/3 of that anymore. The only thing they will get for the next 10 years,
Yeah,
which
I'm
we
just
never
looking at-
received before, is a 2% COLA for 5 years, starting next year, and a 3% for 5 years after that. After that, everything goes away, okay?
Yeah.
Holiday pay is gone forever, the escalation clause is gone forever,
You kept,
and they're gonna be stuck where they are.
Kevin, you kept longevity,
We kept longevity.
so holiday and the escalator.
Yep.
Right,
We gave
so
up.
now, your 5% reduction is in your pension.
Every guy that signed that MOU
Yeah.
has a 5%, holiday pay is gone. If
Ho-
you look it up, there's no
Right.
more holiday,
But 5,
calculated.
so that 5% is on your base pay.
Well, you can call it, Mark
It's-
wants
it's
to do it this
holiday.
way,
It's
so you
just
don't get
holiday.
shit.
It's a holiday.
That's why
Okay.
when you said
All right.
5%, it didn't
So
sound
Fred Presley came up
about
with
5,
5%.
yeah.
So I said, well, isn't holiday pay about 5%?
So that's what you
Yeah.
prefer to
So I
it
said,
as.
okay,
All right.
Let's,
Okay.
let's make it easy for everybody.
Okay, so you do, all right. And your question is, are they getting that same reduction?
Right, did they get the,
All
or
right.
did they stay status quo that they get longevity holiday pay? And now if they get the holiday pay and escalation, holiday pay and longevity, then they discriminated against 40-some guys, because those 4 guys are on disability, same as my guys. So why should they be getting holiday pay and longevity so did the town defraud us when we went to court?
Okay, I see, well, I got 5 names here, but one's deceased, correct? All right,
One's in a nursing home.
okay, maybe I got mistyped here. All right,
Wrote my part.
So he is deceased.
Right, correct.
That's the
And
date that
beneficiary.
was on,
Exactly.
and I went through the beneficiary.
Right,
He
Mark
has-
did.
They have all the information.
Beneficiary is also
Alright.
deceased.
Yes, and she
Yeah.
passed away as
Okay.
well.
It's
I'm
not-
going to,
Al, it's not that
oh,
difficult.
no, I understand, I just want to make sure it's clear, understand. I, myself, are going to go back this week, take time out of work, and I'll find out the answer for this, and as soon as I can get an answer, I will let you know.
I think we have an
We
answer.
have it.
You have
What
the
is
answer?
it?
It's right in front of me. I just, like,
Well,
we have
that's what I'm
5
trying to
minutes?
find out.
Can you give me a 5-minute recess to confer with
Yeah.
Attorney Schmitz, please?
All right. We're going to take a 5-minute recess. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I asked them if they could, what we really need to see is what it, they're saying that they're getting, they're gonna get the COLA. See right here. So it says that the 3 participants that they named will receive, a COLA. 3% in July 2019, 3% in 2024. And so, but it doesn't say anything about whether or not they have in the past received holiday pay in the last couple of years. Probably they should have a COLA. So there's a little confusion. So I don't see no.
They gave me what you already get. Just tell you that.
That's all I wanna know. I said, we can work through this. But don't check me around for 18 months. Right, so how do we get them? Right,
I don't think that they, from what Tracy was saying, it looks like everybody's being treated exactly the same, in group and outside. In these opt-outs and opt-ins and the opt-outs are being treated the same.
Let's find out.
different MOU, that he can join our group and still be represented by a group, different, like, it's like a new contract every year. So our 5-year code, he's got 7, you know? So they're still all under your retired and all of our group. You just, it's like another contract. You and I, you go out before me, I'm going out after you. We're still, you know, in the same pension, but it's just different. What? No.
Whether's the current.
Right, so whatever, so you take that MOU into account, like the pension plans go for the year, but now the new contract like that. So that, there's gonna be no MOUs for the next contract. That's just gonna take over and half, we're gonna, so we'll be writing another rewrite in 40 years. So Ramsey, Hannon, Lonnie, Paul, Bernie Lane was with Bob, we had 7 guys.
What about McGarrett?
McGarrett's 7-year COLA, different from ours.
Are you guys at 10?
5.
Well,
This is the
we're-
suspension.
We're 5, the people that retired after that, are 7.
Their retirement calculation is different. Ours is, so ours is already set anyway.
Yeah.
But, and even then, going into retirement, their calculation based on the last 3 years. You know, stuff like that. Their growth rate of health care is higher.
Yeah,
Here's what it is.
we're not getting any reduction.
You need a motion to reconvene?
Second.
Motion made, second to reconvene, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Mr. O'Connor.
O'Connell.
O'Connell, sorry. It appears that those individuals are getting the same treatment as your group in reduction, with one exception, which had a agreement done previously before your consent agreement and chose not to sign your group, but because they already had an agreement in place. So that agreement is between that individual and the town. But other than that, it appears that they're getting the same reduction that you are. I can't go into names and stuff.
That's fine.
But with the exception of one individual which already had a separate agreement, it appears that they are getting that same reduction.
So you're telling me tonight that those 4 individuals, one has a separate agreement, are getting the same benefit as the 40-some guys under the MOU?
Same
And
reduction.
as of June 1st, they'll be receiving the 2% COLA.
Was that?
As of right now, that's what our
That's what you're
research.
That's what it seems
That's what
to
our
be.
research has brought up, yes.
And is that from the town manager, Mr. Williamson, town council, or are you just assuming? I know you said it appears. Do you know that
That-
for a fact?
That is the
I need to know
information
facts.
that Tracy has dug up for the board.
I only asked NIHA
They're from
what
Niagara.
their plans were and what they were instructed.
Okay.
That's, I didn't dig it up, I just
Right.
asked a question.
No, I gave you the information.
And that's what the email came back that I gave the board. They'll be following the consent judgment or whatever.
See, Nyhart just does what the town tells them.
They weren't given anything else.
They give whatever they gave them, that's what they're doing. And so it appears that what Nyhart's doing is following that
So
same.
the town bypassed the pension board and went directly to NIHOP 5 years ago and told them to give these individuals the same thing as the West Warwick Police and Fire Disability Association. You guys did not notify NIHOP and say calculate their benefits at this rate. just wanna be clear.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I don't know the answer for that because I wasn't here at that time.
Right. I don't know if there's minutes that would show that. I doubt that there is, but
I think most of it was met with Fred and
I
John,
would
and we
assume-
were giving stuff just to email over. It might have been brought to board, Kevin, I honestly can't remember that far back. Do you know what I mean? But a lot of those meetings were.
I've been to all the meetings, I never heard it brought up.
I'm gonna be honest, cause a lot of that was met with Fred and John and Nyhawk.
Right.
Changing all those amounts, and we were given spreadsheets to send over, you know, cause there was a lot of confusion going on at that time.
So at the meeting you had with Mr. Stremczewski, did he tell you that they were getting the same benefit? Or it was just by the assumption of what Tracy found out from Naya? That these benefits were, do you know?
I don't think we got an answer from him exactly. No. I don't remember one from that meeting.
when is that COLA due? Is it this July?
Yes.
So we haven't been directed otherwise. Whether to
Not
not,
to exclude.
correct.
No, you
Not
should,
as of yet, not that I've heard anyway. I
as
mean,
far as I,
I heard.
unless your
I
MO,
down, but
unless your MOU says different, you should be getting it just like the rest of us.
Oh, I am getting it.
Yeah, okay, then, like he said, we haven't heard anything different to that part. As far as we know, comes July 1st, everybody's COLAs kick in.
If you weren't part of the MOU, would you get the COLA, the scheduled COLA?
We're gonna get it.
No, if you weren't part of the
Oh,
MOU.
if I weren't, that I don't know.
like I said, we haven't been directed otherwise.
Until something happens, okay? Again, what I was trying to say originally, I understand your MOU, all right? I understand the ones that didn't sign. If they, the town,
You know, I got another question for you, it just came up top of my head while we're doing this. If you have no authorization under the MOU, then how could you stop Mrs. Kelsey from getting her full pension because the MOU said no deduction in benefit? How did you take that authority if the MOU was with the town? We came to you and gave you an application for Mrs. Kelsey, okay, that she
Yeah.
would get no deduction in her benefit for her husband because we signed an MOU.
Yeah.
You didn't refer it to the town, you sent it to NIAT, and you came back and gave her a reduction in her pension. If that
That's
MOU has
not
nothing
part of
to
the
do with the
agenda.
pension board,
Right, we're not
then what
speaking
gave
on
you
the
the
agenda.
authority to do that?
No, I know you're gonna have, you know what I'm going to say, which is that that's open litigation. It's still my understanding that that's open litigation
It is.
against the town, correct? So I would ask that the board not comment on
But
that.
that
But
clarifies
we
a
can
lot.
certainly listen to your comments. I'm just gonna ask the board not respond.
Boy, that leaves you wide open of civil responsibility.
when was that? What board is that?
3
This-
years ago, Mrs. Kelsey passed away in March.
Oh, all right, you're talking Edward? Okay, I
His
know
wife
he's,
submitted an application to the pension board, okay,
yeah,
for a death benefit. You processed her application,
okay,
okay? I gave you all the information, which included the MOU. It was sent over to NIAT. The next meeting, Mrs. Kelsey's benefit was calculated at 67.5%, and the MOU says she did not receive any reduction in benefit.
your MOU says that?
I would ask that
Yeah, you shouldn't
nobody
say it.
comment.
Because
But
we
we
held
can-
civilly
We
responsible.
can listen to Mr.
I don't think we
O'Connell's
should be
comments, but I would
listening. I
ask
mean,
that
we're
the
off.
board not.
The
Like
agenda
I say,
item is opt-out
this is the
police and
first I
fire.
hear this, I didn't know that was under litigation or anything, so,
Yeah, you
all right.
shouldn't talk anymore.
okay. But what I was
Thank you.
originally,
You're welcome.
what I was originally saying is, your group has your agreement.
Yeah.
The other ones chose not to sign it. Whatever the town does for an agreement with them, whether they give them that same reduction, don't give it to them, whatever, we don't tell the town to do one way or the other. So, we have no,
I advise you not to say anything more, Al.
Okay.
I really don't.
I just,
You shouldn't,
okay,
just to protect you. Okay?
all right.
And I think Krista would agree with me with that, right?
I would ask that we end
Correct. Thank
this
you.
discussion at that point, given the
Correct.
discussion regarding Mrs. Kelsey. Not that, I know you're not commenting on Mrs.
Yeah.
Kelsey's situation, but commenting on the MOU, given the discussion that we're having, I would ask that we stop
Right.
that. And I appreciate that.
No problem.
Thank you.
All your questions answered then?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
All right, next one is item O, the Bobola Quattro. Both sides of, in that Quattro, have been, lawyers have been advised, that they need to work out their own decision, and at that time, if they wanna do something different, it's up to them as far as recalculation and that, and they'll pay for it themselves, the board not gonna pay for another one. They've been advised by that, and we haven't heard nothing back yet from their lawyers.
Correct.
So at this point, unless they decide to do something down the road,
There's no
we have
action on
nothing
that.
else we have to do with it.
Okay.
No action.
Okay? All right. We don't need a motion or anything on that, right? I just, all right.
Correct, there's no action that needs to be
Yep.
taken.
So we're done with that unless they come back with us for something. Item P, COLAs for the fire disability.
I'm gonna send an email.
That's, yeah, we still have to meet. This is the active fire.
That's for the actors, okay.
Oh,
Retired
some,
actors.
yeah.
Somewhere.
Fire, not part of Kevin's group.
That's still the letter,
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
send an email if you wanna
Alright.
meet with,
so we're gonna, we signed a letter tonight to, set up a meeting with the town manager on this. Any other discussion on this? Okay, just motion to table it till next month? or-
Motion to table item P.
Second the motion.
Motion made and seconded to table item P till next month. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item Q. James Dunn letter and the MOTU, Human Resources. In reference to the letter that Human Resources and the Pension Board has received from Mr. Dunn, I had a meeting with HR. We discussed his situation, and she has sent a memo to the town solicitor and the town manager, and turning it over to them and let them make a decision, handle it from there. It has, there's nothing that the board has to do with it. His statements in there are based on a few things. He's been explained what the pension requirements are. He doesn't agree with what HR or the pension board had to say about it, so it's been turned over to Mr. Williamson and the town manager to take it from there. Any other discussion? Okay.
Is he an applicant
No,
for a
No.
pension?
no.
No.
Then why are you even considering this?
He proposed questions about,
You filed an APRA request too, correct?
yes,
No?
Well, he approached the clerk and asked a question.
Oh, that's right,
And
yeah.
she asked him to provide it in writing because the question was kind of a little
And he-
confusing. And he did that, and then it was provided to Human Resources in
I
the
see.
town.
and then he did put the APRA request in with the HR in the town. But they come back to us, and I met with her, and it's got nothing to do with us. We spelled out what the pension requirements are. He doesn't agree with the options that he has under the pension plan. So it's turned over to Mr. Williamson and the town manager, so they'll be up to speed on it and advised of what's been going on at this point. It's really, it's a moot issue unless come time for his retirement, and then we puts his application in, then we'll go further. Next is item R, RFQ for legal counsel. that, we are going to suggest that we table this until next month, as Tracy is going to send a letter to Mr. Williamson in regard to some questions that the board add on that.
Motion to table item R.
Second motion to table item R.
Motion made and seconded to table item R. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item S, pension board opinion request forms. This one here is when can retired department heads,
When can municipal department heads retire?
that's, yeah, so I was gonna say, that's it. When can a municipal department head retire?
When can municipal,
This was previously tabled, correct?
Yeah, did you talk to HR about this one? You spoke
Oh,
to-
yeah.
Is that with Mr. Barris, he'd fall under the same thing? I only talked about him.
No, this was the one from wastewater.
No, we didn't talk about
Okay.
that.
So we'll just have to.
The two that
table
we covered that day spent over
Okay.
almost 2 hours.
Okay, table it.
Motion to table S1.
We'll have to get.
This
going
is from
with that.
wastewater. So I need to set up a meeting with her to go over this one? Is that what you're saying, Tracy?
Well, that's the one we were going to, but it's kind of, yeah, she wanted to know.
All right, I'll get the particulars from you after, and
Okay.
I'll set up a meeting with her and get an answer on this.
We're gonna table this.
I have a
Yeah, I
motion.
suggest
Is
that.
there a
Motion to
motion already?
table, yeah.
I second the motion.
Motion made and seconded to table item S1 until next month. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, Peter Blaze, we've finally got his disability applications pending. The question on that was cleared up, if I remember correct?
I'm gonna call the schools and see if he's terminated,
Right,
and then I'll put him back on the agenda.
all right, and so
For his
until then, we'll just table it till next month?
I don't know, does that need to be tabled, Krista? Or can we
Well,
just
if you get,
You can
kind of
take
remove him from there, cause he's gonna go under a different,
under the different section.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
you can either way.
whatever you want to do.
well, we've accepted
I
his
think
application,
You kept it
correct?
on, I think, the whole time since you had the application, so I guess I would table it and just put it
Back,
up
okay.
into the other section.
Once you get the figures,
Okay.
and he signs off. Okay.
Motion to table item T, Peter Blaze.
Second the motion?
Motion made and seconded to table item T until the further notice. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item U, COLA for non-union.
This is probably Barris now, right?
Yes.
That one there is a question regarding Chief Barris. I have had a meeting with HR on that. We covered 3 or 4 different sections. We did not get an answer. She has forwarded a letter to Mr. Williamson and Town Manager to get an answer on that, because there is nothing in writing for Mr. Barris. As soon as we get an answer from the town, what exactly it is that he's gonna fit under, then, which COLA plan, then we'll have that answer. He's not due for his COLA yet, so it's not an urgent issue, but we wanna get the answer straightened out before that point comes. We're just waiting to hear back from HR and town solicitor and the manager.
I'm gonna table.
Yes, so I'd like to keep it on and just table it. so
Motion to
that,
table item U.
Second the motion to table item U.
Motion made and seconded to table item U. until we hear back from HR. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item V, school question reemployment, post-retirement. The original agreement before '06 said, if I'm correct, said that they could work X number of hours or X number of amount of money per year without affecting the pension. '06 has no mention of that, so basically they can't. This has to be addressed by the town, we are gonna notify Mr. Williamson, right, correct, Tracy? And
I
ask
already
him.
did.
Okay, and see if we get an answer from him as to what they wanna do.
I have an email
Our
out.
recommendation is that they just redo that ordinance so that it allows them to do that, which I think just got overlooked when they did the '06 plan.
Motion for that.
Do we,
People to
do we
see
need,
if they
you
will
wanted to
accept
keep
it.
it on, or just, you got the question, originally had the question? Came to you?
The school,
Yeah.
no, it went to, Krista.
The lights all just
Oh,
turned
yeah.
off. I don't know why.
I think Kevin, I don't think you meant it.
Oh.
He's trying to save energy.
Yeah, it was a
yeah.
school question I received from an attorney that was asking whether or not a school employee could come back part-time post-retirement.
All right.
So we have an ordinance that's on point, but the ordinance amends the '01 plan.
Right.
So that's why it's a question as to if it was an oversight in the '06 plan or if it was intentionally
But right now,
left out.
they can't.
In the '06 plan, there is not a provision for a part-time employment for a retiree to come back.
I would like you then to, send a letter back to that lawyer stating that, the '06 plan doesn't address that, so they cannot do that. But it appears that it was an oversight.
Should we wait to get the answer?
Get a what?
Should we wait to get the answer?
Well, I think we should give them an answer and then tell them we're waiting for an answer to see.
I have talked to her,
Oh.
and I have explained that, I sent her a copy of the ordinance, and I explained to her that it amended the '01 plan, but that was a question as to the '06 plan. I did explain that.
Okay, so, you don't need to do any further with her.
No, I can just follow up and update her that we're waiting for more information from the town.
Are you gonna, have you sent Mr. Williamson something on this, or are you gonna do that?
I sent an email to yourself, council president, town manager, and Timmy Williamson to see what the intent was.
Okay.
Or if
all
they,
right.
didn't
Yep.
mean to leave it out, if it was an oversight.
So we'll wait for an answer for that.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask why we're answering that question?
Because the question came to us.
It's a question about the plan and.
As far as how it affects their pension, if they start working, will they lose pension? And there's nothing in the '06
Are they
that,
working?
what's that?
Are they working?
My understanding is they had just retired and were looking to come back part-time, and could they? And under the ordinance, they could.
Why is that our question, the answer?
What was the effect on their pension benefit if they did, was the
If
question.
they did, we'd have to stop the pension.
Oh, if I may address something, I follow around on this topic, so, I sat here for a while, so. The problem that I have this evening maybe is the tone of, maybe the agenda items. Norman Landrish, 88 Silverwood Lane. I represent the retired police and fire group, not the non-Kevin O'Connell group. But, I mean, my problem this evening is the things I'm hearing about. I'm setting up different meetings with the HR, no disrespect, Chairman Heru, the solicitor, the town manager. Items N, P, Q, S are all meetings that are taking place. So I think maybe from my perspective, the board's not
in this agenda is not administrating the plan. That is your duties as people of this board. It seems like we're running town government on the second floor as well. I don't know as far as why we're involved with meetings with the town manager, with HR, who is the ticket out to the application process to retire. You see HR first, and it seems like now we're doing it backwards. And I'm starting to get a little leery of all the things on this agenda that have to be spoken to, which you act as a independent board for the retirement, for the pensioners, and for our investment. So I don't know why there would be meetings with the town manager, meetings with the solicitor, meetings with HR to administer a plan that's in front of you. I'd like to just put that out there. And then the question of the F board council report, the not on the agenda, is that military service question for an applicant?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there's an application there. And I mean, I don't have a problem with an applicant pending, but even the last one, the question regarding reemployment, I mean, that's an ordinance change they made. I mean, they just made the new ordinance change from the school department employee, the former police officer, Ronnie Ozenkowski, who increased to $30,000. That's an ordinance change. I don't know why we're answering those
That
questions
affected-
as,
Norman, that affected the police and fire plan, and we assume that when they made that ordinance change, it was an oversight to not also trigger that same ordinance on the other than police and fire plan. So this person's basically asking why didn't the town pass an ordinance for our plan as well? Just the police and fire plan got affected.
I think that's an ordinance question for the town council, who
is.
can pass ordinances.
It
This-
is.
This pension board can't pass an ordinance.
Correct.
Which is
That's
exactly
all
what we're
we're,
telling you.
that's
We're-
all we're discussing.
That's why
Well-
we're tabling it, because we can't answer that question, the town has to answer that.
But my last question is, the MOU my group signed is part of the pension plan as it's gonna be administered, correct?
I just don't follow the question.
So I'm in a 5-year MOU
Yeah.
with benefits to be structurally paid, or certainly they took deductions from our group.
Right.
So that MOU, you know how to administer my plan within these 5 years.
Yeah.
So July 1st, we're getting a COLA under our plan.
Correct.
That's
That
what,
inf-
that's
yeah.
what this board is doing.
Right.
We don't have to check with the town in order to get my COLAs,
No, because we have that in writing, and that's been given to NIHO.
as you do Mr. O'Connell's as well, and as you do every active member who's in a 5-year MOU.
So understand that, maybe you misunderstood what Mr. O'Connell was saying. We are following his MOU, okay? The pension board and the pension plan, all of the people that signed his MOU are getting benefits in accordance with that MOU. He was questioning the people who did not sign the MOU. Are they getting the same benefits?
Oh, I understand what
Okay.
he was saying. I understand. So if they're not part of the MOU, that's probably something that should have been transmitted to this pension board, that they're not a certified class. I had to certify my entire class, as did Russell and all the municipal department heads.
Right.
We certified our entire class. If there was no one within my class, you should have had that in front of you in my agreement. You don't have to. I have my entire group.
Right.
In this case, seemingly there must be 4 people or 5, I'm not sure what it is. That's probably another thing that should have been transmitted to the pension board
Yeah.
from the second floor. So again, I mean,
Right.
we're putting together pieces that really aren't your obligation here. So it's just a little frustrating.
Norman, every
You know,
time you come up, you make a good point.
I mean, you understand why we're discussing so much with the second floor. I mean, you started off by saying we shouldn't be discussing so much with them, and now it seems like you're saying we need to. I don't,
I mean, we don't have a
No,
choice.
no, what I'm saying is it should have been here as part of the
Should have
MOU
been here
process.
already.
Absolutely.
Right, but there's so many things that we've run into, we can't get an answer.
What I don't want, and I don't want the answers being delegated to an independent board from someone who's not, you're administrating the plan, that's all we're asking you to do.
But that's hard to do, Norman, when we don't have clear-cut answers.
But we're certainly not asked questions on the MOU, which we were certainly at the table with the town,
Right.
okay?
Yep.
So, I mean, there were two sides sitting down.
Right.
Now, only one side is having meetings about, I think you should do it this way. Or maybe it should be done this way. Well, we sat down with you. We went to court. Nobody from the pension board went to court because we were in obligations
Right.
with the town and whatever entity we set up.
Right.
So now, it's just a little, I'm getting a little, it's like walking on eggshells now that what's going on. And listen, we have new town government, we have a new town manager that wasn't involved. I get all those things. But I think it's important that however we get it done, I don't want this board to have any egg on it as well,
Yep.
that you're making decisions that you shouldn't be making. Your job is to administer the plan. It's that simple.
Other than Mr. Lemoy, we've been here very short time. While I sat on that side at meetings, I didn't make all of them. But there's a lot of answers we can't answer because we don't have the information. One particular individual asked a question. We thought it should be one way, but when we actually dug in with it, it seemed to be maybe a different direction. We couldn't come up with a clear-cut answer, so I sat down with a meeting with HR in the town to see if we can get an answer, because I don't, or us as the board, doesn't want to make a decision that may hurt a retiree or hurt the plan. So we try to get the answer. Now, you are correct in that sometimes we're doing the work of the town. We should be able to say, what's the status with this individual? But we're not getting that answer. HR, they've cut the hours back to 25 hours, and those things, and I'm not putting blame on one or the other, but we have to carry this stuff month to month, and we're doing, as you say, and we've talked about this, we talked about it at executive sessions, we talked about it at meetings like we're doing right now. We're not, should be doing the town's work, but sometimes we have to go to them and find out. Whoever started a redraft, you've said it before, and I agree, that's not our problem to take all that stuff and put together to one place. When they make agreements and make changes, that should be put everywhere. It's not. So when we go to look for something, we gotta look through 5 or 6 documents and waste a lot of time. So somebody decided that this board will just put it together and solve it. Should we be doing the town's job? No. That's costing a lot of money. I'm trying to get this done because we've got the money invested into it now, so let's get it done and that's it. But no more, just like the Quattros and other things. I can't speak for the past boards. I'm trying to do exactly what you said to limit that. I made my frustrations earlier tonight in the executive session about just what you're saying. But some of the things we've already been dealt with this, and we're trying to finish them out. But sometimes I take time to go and do out of my own days and work to get some of these stuff, meet with these people.
I understand, I appreciate the commitment.
It's not that, it's just the fact that if we don't do this, we can't answer these people's questions. And I think administering the plan, like if a person asks, can I go to work now that I've retired, come back and work part-time, is it gonna affect my pension? When we look up and see, well, one thing says yes, another one says no, but was it an oversight, whatever? So we need to go and ask and find out, did you miss this or whatever? If we just say, no, you can't because it says you can't, and yet someone else is doing it that used to work for the town, but they were in a different department, is that fair to the individual? No. So we're just trying to tell the town, hey, look, we think you made an oversight and do that. Should we do that? I don't know. I think that's
Yeah, I mean,
someone's opinion.
I mean, I wouldn't be answering that question, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you employ board counsel, you employ the actuary. The actuary's supposed to be crunching your numbers,
Yeah.
bringing that to you. You have your work unit within this independent board.
Right.
You should be making decisions based on how this board is supposed to run.
I wish it was
And
that
that-
easy, Norman.
Well, I think if you make a bad decision and it's an actuary's fault, and then you can go after the actuary.
Right.
I mean, there's courses to go on that, and on that aspect.
So if, like we have here, we have somebody that's retired and looking to come back and how, they're asking us how it affects our pension, we should just say, we're not gonna answer that question.
I think they get the answer from the town. I think they get the answer with the ordinances. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah.
you're asking a question that may not take place. I mean, that's just me. I mean,
I think it's just natural for us to try to help out retirees. When they have
Yeah, I
questions, we wanna help them get their answers.
they're all different questions. I mean, the COLA issue, I don't know, if you can't find it, a department head, whether it was police or fire, always fell under the union contract COLA. That's how it always went. Maybe if it isn't now, I'm not sure what the different reading is, but that's how it always fell. They fell under the obligations of the retiree of the local bargaining unit of whether it's police, fire, municipal.
Okay. I'm gonna.
No, you don't have to.
No,
This is
I'm not
just a
gonna
key
mention
point.
names or situation, but I'm gonna expand on it a little bit. Some of the problems that, at least since I've been here, we've been running into is there has been nothing put in black and white. There is people working for the town right now. There's people who have worked for the town in the past with no written contract, a verbal thing. Norman, you're gonna start tomorrow. We're gonna give you this much hours, this much benefits, and that's it. You say, okay. 15 years down the road to retire, you don't remember what they said, whatever. There's nothing in writing. They come to us, and we gotta give information to the actuary. Well, is he supposed to get a COLA? Is he not? What's it? There's nothing in writing. It shouldn't be that way. But as a board, we gotta deal with that. And I'm telling you, I
I
sat
only
down,
thought, I
We
mean,
go back to the other,
I
yeah,
sat
and I
down
only
and
represent to the boards
went
that are
through with
represented
them.
by contracts, and clearly we have documents in writing.
Oh,
so-
Norman, I agree. That's why, for me, it's frustrating, especially why I sat there for 2 hours and tried to get an answer for this individual. Like I said earlier tonight, 2 things I'm concerned with. 1, the individual doesn't get screwed on the benefits that the individual has coming, and 2, that the plan doesn't get screwed if something is given to the individual that wasn't paid into or figured into the plan. Then the plan's gonna take a hit for a long time. But without documentation or something in writing, we shouldn't make a decision. So we have to go back to them and ask them, are we doing their job? Yeah, but we're trying to protect the plan and protect the individual. I can't believe what's going on in some of the situations in this town. But as the problem comes to us, it's not that easy like you say. I wish it was that way to administer the plan. We can look at an agreement, look at a contract or an MOU and see. But when we bounce from here, it says go to there, we go from there to there, and then that contradicts this, and you can't get clear-cut answer. My decision, go back to the town and go back to the union. What was your intent? What was it supposed to be? Can you put something in writing, give us an answer, so then we can administer the plan? And tell you, it's like pulling teeth. I mean, they do what they do, they do the best they can, some of them short-handed, whatever, but, we end up having to do it, you know? Is it fair to us as members of the board here? No.
I mean, I've never seen a 2-hour executive sessions and a 2-hour meetings,
No.
but for the last few years, and you're
Well-
doing yeoman's work, but I think a lot of it is non-yeoman's work. It shouldn't be here.
Yeah,
Just my
Norman,
we
opinion.
shouldn't,
Just my opinion.
just,
Norman,
I appreciate everything.
No, I just
I'm
wanna
not-
say one
you don't
last
have to
thing.
preach to me, I get it.
I went,
I get it.
I sat
I-
down with Tracy today to go over a couple things, and that opened up a can of worms. And while I wish we hadn't, but in a way it's good, because I learned things. Stuff that's been done by previous boards that made decisions that we have to live with today, that they shouldn't have done, in my opinion.
And for the record, I was on the board previously, so whether
Yeah.
good, bad, or ugly,
No, but I'm saying,
I was one of
there's
you, so, but
decisions
decisions were made.
made
wanna
at
serve
that time,
again? We
they
got two
took
spots.
Decisions were made.
We got 2 spots, Norman, if you wanna come back and do our
What I'm
4-hour
getting at,
meetings.
Norman, is there was decisions made, good, bad, or whatever. Their intentions probably were good. They thought this was the right thing to do. But it opened up a can of worms because nobody thought about the domino effect. Where does it, how this happen? And follow it through to see if it made an effect if we did this decision. So now, this board and boards before us and boards after this one are gonna have to deal with them. There's a whole bunch of them that, when it comes time for these people to retire, all these things are gonna hit and they contradict the plan. And somebody's gonna have to answer for it, you know? So who's it gonna be? It's the board, you know? I can't believe one that's been on here before I came on to the board and since there, and it wastes time and money. We have to pay her because we can't make some of those legal decisions, all right? But, and I don't like it being here, so I'm trying to clean these up and get them, but we're dealing with problems that was handed to us, and I agree with you 100%, but it's not gonna change overnight.
I don't mind legal bills as long as it's legal wherever it needs to be done.
Yep.
That's it, so.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay.
And when there are,
Thank you for your time.
when there
though.
are, contradictions, that's why we have to go back to those department heads to resolve them, those contradictions,
Yeah.
legal and otherwise.
Well, it's just crazy that the word contradiction is used. I mean, these were things that were negotiated and are in writing, and to me, it should just be easy enough to administer what's in writing.
Would you like
so.
to serve on the board
I
again?
know, I'm all set, thank you. I think I'm conflicted out now.
Actually, yeah, I was gonna say, that's a
Thank you.
conflict, yeah. All right,
This is public discussion,
no, what's item W?
that was Granicus.
What is that? I hate that.
That's the
Oh,
video system.
finance sent,
They always make us pay like a portion
yeah,
of
but
They
now
make-
they want me to cut a check, so I called her and I go, so it's right here, it's in the packet. We owe $634.62 for the first quarter of fiscal year 19.
Well, right now, I have a problem with it because I see a red light.
It's on, Kevin said it was on.
Oh, okay, I thought you said it wasn't.
I thought he couldn't get it on right away, his phone took a while,
Yeah.
but he told me it was on.
Oh, okay, so it
It
is, all
must
right.
be a red
Blue
light,
is off, red is on,
I guess. That
Okay.
one's blue, I have no idea.
so I just made myself a fool if anybody's watching. All right, okay.
So anyway, I called the finance director and she explained she'd like us to cut a check for it. So if we approved it, I'd have to send this to Rockland. So this was from the first quarter of fiscal year 19, so that would be July, August, and September. They're billing us for,
Oh, their fiscal year, okay.
yes.
Now, is this the first time?
No.
No,
No? Okay.
but they've done it different. I think last year we might have paid the year.
I
Now
know,
they're
I
doing
know
it
they
in
always want it,
quarters.
they always
It
want it
was
ahead of
weird.
time, which is always frustrating because we
Mhm.
pay for it and then you have like 3 meetings in a row and the system's not even working.
Yeah.
And then you're trying to get reimbursed for the system being down and
And then, do they reimburse you?
we have gotten,
Have
yeah,
A
'cause
long time ago.
when it first,
Yeah, because they really
it
wasn't
really
working.
wasn't working.
So for the first quarter, how much was it, Trace?
$634.62. That's our portion of it. So this would be for, like I said, July, August, and September of this fiscal year.
So
I
we
would need
got-
approval to have Rockland
So
cut a
that's,
check.
that's once that's passed.
Yeah, fiscal
So
year
we got
19.
October, November, December coming up too.
Yep.
All right.
Just still
Is
don't,
this, and how did he determine this price?
that's what,
I-
see, that's
That
what,
was the,
that was my big complaint
that
of
was,
the
yeah,
last time
the
we
way
paid
they
for
did
this.
it.
Was they require us to pay a portion of it.
Yeah.
Yet we had no discussion whatsoever with what vendor we used, what kind of services they would provide, what the cost would be. We're just asked to pay 18% of the bill.
Well, my question is, let's say it cost, I'm just gonna use a figure, $10,000 to run the system for the year. Council has meetings,
Mhm.
Right,
we have meetings,
right.
probate court, municipal court,
They don't.
do they pay?
Well, it's pretty much,
Oh, they
she's
have it.
estimating across the board.
It's,
On the last page.
If you
council,
look at
sewer
the last-
commission,
If you follow the column,
town council, sewer commission, planning, zoning, and pension.
yep. So semi-annual, ours would be 12, so ours is, I guess, it looks like probably close to 4 quarters, 634. We divided it out.
So we pay what, 6,000 a year, roughly?
No, about
No.
20, probably that 2,600.
Oh, okay.
Well, what we pay or what Grant is, the total is 17,148.30.
Yeah.
Right, but
But
I
we
think we'll
pay-
pay the 26
Ours
with
is-
3% increase.
Yeah.
Right, the 26,
Right, and they divided it out for 4 quarters.
For the video streaming that we had no say in because
They just.
they
did it.
wanted they wanted it, and they said, you guys should stream your meetings.
But we didn't have a choice not to.
So I'm gonna vote no, as I always, I think I did last time anyway, vote no again.
What is it, we don't have a say in?
Who we use, we're using, it's a company that
Yeah.
provides the services, what the price is, the services they provide. They're asking us to pay for something that we have.
Is this something they bid each year to get
No.
the best
No,
price?
I,
Or is it a
I don't know,
contract?
because I'm not included in the conversation.
I don't know, it was a town, I think it was a town council, right? Like,
Fred Presley, I don't
Was
know
it?
how.
It could have been Fred, I'm not really sure, I don't remember. But we didn't have a say, all of a sudden they just told us we had to stop.
Yeah, you gotta start streaming
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. It's a lot of money for garbage.
All right, let me ask this question. Are we required to have this?
No, we're just gonna meet the Open Meetings Act, which you don't need to video stream, it's not required by state law.
So if there's
It's
nothing,
nice to provide
nothing
transparent
for us
government.
to require
I'm
to
I'm
it.
a fan of transparent government, I like that we
Oh,
stream
I
the
agree.
videos. But the
But-
point is, we have no say at all in any of it. I don't know how they came up with that price, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
All
I
I'm
remember
getting
they
is
came and
You don't know if there's a
explained it, it was
contract, if it's-
I'm
confusing.
gets
getting a
bidded
bill, I
out.
don't even know if I was here when they did that,
We were at the senior center and John Semino came.
I don't remember that,
I remember that.
Do you remember that? And he tried to explain it.
yeah.
They did something about however
Yeah.
many meetings each board has per month and divided it.
Yeah, no, I agree, we use up a lot of video, I'm not gonna deny it.
Yeah.
You have 2-3 hour meetings that are longer than council meetings, I mean,
All right,
I would just like to be included in the not me
Yeah,
personally, but this
I
board
agree.
should be included in
well,
I agree.
I have a
how they came up
suggestion.
with that price.
Since this is past what we've already done, and I say we'll have to pay it, but I suggest that we tell them we don't want the service anymore, and we're gonna save that money, because our funds took a hit, and we just can't afford to do that. That's something, if it's not required, don't need to do it.
Yeah.
Correct.
That, to me, is a luxury.
As far as you're aware, Open Meetings Act does not require streaming.
No, not that I'm aware.
So you want a motion from us to not to pay it?
No, my suggestion is we pay this because that's for, months that have already gone by.
No, it's for July forward, fiscal year 19.
That's not what she just said.
We're in fiscal year 19.
Right, so that was July, August, and September of fiscal year 19.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I thought it
Right?
was
Yeah.
going
So we
forward.
paid those,
Last time they did that though.
Yeah, that's what I was,
It's so confusing.
that's what I was
so that's
expecting.
3 months that already passed, right?
So we're gonna have to pay for
We're gonna have to pay for 3 more months
Or,
and
September,
January.
October, November, December,
And
right.
then January.
Well, yeah, but my suggestion is, we'll pay this one, but tell them we don't want this anymore.
Who are we gonna tell?
I'm assuming
Finance?
finance is the one, right?
You'll have to type an email.
Before you make that decision, can I say one thing?
Sure.
There's a lot of our members that watch these,
Right,
and
Oh.
you're cutting them off by doing that.
right.
Oh, I understand, I know one,
But
especially the
point-
handicap.
The point is that all the town boards, their meetings are broadcast.
Yeah.
I think by stopping this, they're gonna think you're hiding something.
I'm not suggesting we stop it,
No,
Sach,
no,
I'm suggesting that we're brought into
I
the
think you
fold.
should have a say in what
Right,
you pay
that's all I'm
for it.
saying.
But I would not discontinue it. Because it's important to the pensioners that cannot make it here. I got 3 members that watch from out of state.
Correct.
'Cause
Okay.
They can't get here.
I have thought about that before I said what I said, and I don't wanna cut them out, cause I've watched them sometimes myself before I got on the board.
Right, and I think it's.
I just wanna know what we're paying for, Sach.
You're paying for, they divide it all up, supposedly.
I see it here.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay, yeah, I see that, but who are we paying?
And also, you pay the town pays granted.
They're paying it like one
But what
check.
happens also is, even though you're paying for, let's say one time there's a technical problem and it can't be broadcast, that money should be going back to the pension, because you're paying for the pension meetings.
Right,
And I'm not sure that money is going back to the pension.
Probably not.
In other words, if they miss, say,
Oh, if they
two weeks of
reimburse.
broadcast,
Yeah, we'd
the
have,
pension
we have a
plan
problem
should be
again.
reimbursed. but
I wanna say
they're
we,
paying for that.
I wanna say we
Well,
asked for reimbursement like a couple of years ago, when there was a extended issue. I think every board had a problem, and they reimbursed, whether
Okay, you just wanna make sure that you.
it
There's
get
some-
actually came back here, yeah. I don't
Russ,
know.
to your knowledge, does somebody monitor this to see if it is working for every single meeting?
Yeah, cause sometimes I get a text, and they'll say if it's not working, if there's no volume or anything like that.
Yeah, like the last council meeting didn't have a volume.
Right, so then they text me and they let me know.
All right, so if that's the case, does this company automatically reimburse the town?
They should.
I don't know if it's automatic. I mean, you probably gotta
Well,
let them know.
my question,
Inform them.
well, I think we need to find out is, I agree with you. Do they monitor it? When there's something that fails, do they reimburse the town based on whatever the figures out, so much for audio, so much for video, and so forth? And if so, that particular section is coming out of their budget, does it go back into their budget? Or in this case, back into our pension?
I think should happen.
I'd say let's get those answers before we pay this bill then.
Need information. Right,
That's just my,
right.
And they should also provide you with the meetings that were covered, the total time, and what it cost them.
yeah.
We're not getting any of it. Well, we gets the bill.
Right,
That's what I'm not happy about.
right, we need to get answers to the questions.
I would like to have a motion that, we find out how much, for this bill there they got, what it covers. If there's any reimbursement, does it come back to this for any meetings that, on our side, that doesn't get, fully covered? Does that money come back that we paid?
I'll send it to finance.
Before
I'll just put it back on the next
before we pay the
agenda.
bill and just
Yeah,
table it till next month?
Motion
That-
to,
So
table.
moved.
motion to table item W.
I second that motion.
Motion made and seconded to table item W till next month. All in favor?
Aye.
Alright,
Opposed? Okay, any discussion on anything?
Discussion, don't
I
see
have
any
one
further
thing
discussion.
I'd like to, discuss. The question I have, and then other people have, and it's been brought to me, and it's been brought to this meetings in the past, is, do we require to have legal counsel at every single meeting?
we're required.
Well, do we, to have the need, should we have it?
So far, it looks like we needed the council.
Threatened with lawsuits, I think, every other meeting so far.
Well, every meeting? Oh, well, the question,
I think every time Kevin's here, there's like
is that,
every time Kevin's here, we get threatened with a lawsuit, so
well, the thing is, if,
it's a joke, actually.
no, I know. but
Somewhat.
My thought is, and it's been presented to me more than once, and I've thought about it over and over. If we discuss something like we've done tonight, and it's a question that we can't answer, we think there's a legal issue or something, we make a note of it, and we send, if Tracy can't give us an answer, then we send an email to our lawyer. She looks it up and gives us an answer back, or say, I'll come to the meeting, have her come to the next meeting and give us an answer. I'm just, is there, I wanna know if you, as a board, if you feel there's a need to have her come every single meeting.
Well, I'm
Yes.
kinda glad she was here today, because she kinda
You
stopped
can always save the
saying
question.
too much.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's what happens, I mean,
That's the thing, you
sometimes
don't-
you don't really realize what you're saying until it's too late.
Yeah, I just asking it out so that,
Yeah, so
can't be
I'm
said that I
thinking,
didn't try to control expenses and, answer people's questions, you know, or their thoughts or suggestions. I mean, sometimes they have good questions or thoughts they give, either to me or board members. So, all right, I just wanted to say that and see what everybody, no offense. No.
Sure, lawyer, don't take offense.
That's pretty much true. Meant to.
she doesn't take, she just gets even.
Price just went up.
Mr. Versace,
too.
Any public comment?
No.
Sure.
All right.
Just a happy new year to everybody.
Happy New
And
Year.
I want to thank you for coming to the meetings.
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.